I'm Brendan Vermeyer. I'm the original Holistic Savage. It's been a fun ride, and this whole Holistic Savage thing, it's been amazing to see how far it's come, even in a relatively short amount of time. Because originally, the term Holistic Savage came from me when I was trying to figure out, like, my identity, especially with social media and all of that. You know, everybody has to find their unique vibe, their authenticness, right? So I didn't want people referring to me as like a bodybuilder or some meathead dude, because it's like, well, I'm a total science nerd, and I'm also super spiritual and kind of hippie, and but also really intense, and I like to lift heavy things and throw stuff around. I was just trying to figure out, and at the time I had just done like my fourth bodybuilding show, but I didn't want to be associated with that demographic, and I won't go into why, but I don't know, just one day it hit me. I was like, Holistic Savage, that's who I am. That's perfect. And so then the more I reflected on it and started talking to some of my friends and kind of started throwing the word around, and it just more and more really started like, this is perfect. Like, not just for me, but this is a movement that I think the world needs, to be honest. I think we live in this interesting time. The millennial generation is going to make up 75% of the workforce by 2025. So times are changing. It's that, passing of the torch from generation to generation. And I feel like the millennial generation hasn't found their identity. And I think there's an exploding movement of holistic living of all kinds: holistic medicine, holistic nutrition, holistic fitness, everything. We're trying to. I think it's a craving for something that feels real. I think we're all craving something that feels real and authentic, nostalgic, natural, because everything feels so fake today. Everything feels so artificial. Everything feels so superficial. And the way that our society is set up is this very, projection of ego everywhere, and domestication, and kind of this harsh, judgmental society of like, you're not good enough, you're not good enough. And so I want to help everybody unleash their inner holistic savage. So even though it originally was me kind of finding my own identity through introspection and reflection and meditation, the more I really kind of dug into that and observing, and with my mission of trying to save the world from chronic disease, I really think it's a very powerful thing if we can teach somebody how to look inwards, how to unleash that inner holistic savage. And the thing is, I definitely have my definition of holistic savage. There's definitely what I think of when I think of holistic savage. However, the whole point is I want everybody to define it for themselves. I think holistic savage should be defined by every individual, and they need to find, what does that mean for them? We're all the same species, so we need a lot of the same things. There's more in common than not, but my lifestyle is going to look different for yours. And I think that's part of the problem with a lot of these challenges or programs or whatever the case is, where it's too set in stone of, oh, well, you have to do, Whole30 or keto or paleo or this, CrossFit and bodybuilding, all these different modalities. And we've taken away the inherent power of choice, which at the end of the day is the most powerful thing that we have when we're born into this world. It's the power of choice. It's the power of decision. It's the power of the mind. It's the, it's the higher consciousness that we're all capable of tapping into, but we've forgotten how through the domestication that is our life and is our path. So it's time. I truly believe that the process of self-discovery is largely a process of unlearning. You have to unlearn the faulty belief system that's been programmed into you since birth. And then you have to find your most authentic self, and you have to be brave. You have to be fearless. You have to show up every day. You have to start nourishing your mind, body, and soul. And if it doesn't nourish your mind, body, and soul, why are you doing that? You can start changing the behavior, which then leads to changing the neuroplasticity. We know through science and all the different brain scan technology we have these days, the power of choice of I choose to think of this, I choose to perceive myself as X, Y, or Z, quite literally changes the neural networks in your brain. It's no different than training your muscles. You know, you want big biceps, you're doing curls. You are a specific adaptation to imposed demand. You're literally straining those tissues in order to then let them recover. They build up stronger. The neural network, the nervous system gets better at communicating to those myocyte fibers, but then also they start getting bigger, stronger, better blood flow, better glycogen storage, and sarcoplasmic hypertrophy. But the brain is no different. And the brain is ultimately what controls everything about the body. And that's the beautiful thing, though, is we're not slaves to our brain. Our brain is slave to us and our higher consciousness. But it can go either way depending on the programming. So in a way, we literally have to make the choice to reprogram our brain to then reprogram our body. And so that's, again, the holistic nature of all of this is extremely legitimate science. But there's nobody out there that's looking at all the evidence, combined with a little bit of common sense, a little bit of nature, and a little bit of, or a lot of it of self-love into one coherent program that can really teach people what they need to accomplish their best life and set their soul free. And we're really just getting started. Obviously, 30 days, that's just the beginning. With behavior modification, it takes time and repetition. It's an ongoing thing. It's kind of like with, you know, Buddhism or some kind of spiritual practice, or just, hey, if, you know, yoga is your thing, or you're a professional hockey player, whatever your craft is, you don't do it once or for 30 days. It's like if you're trying to get in shape. You don't work out for 30 days and expect to be super fit in that time, or then, oh, after 30 days, you can stop working out and you just stay fit for the rest of your life. It doesn't work that way. The way of the Holistic Savage, it's a lifestyle, it's an attitude, it's a movement, it's a belief system in a way. And so we're just trying to really educate and empower, educate, elevate, and inspire people and give them the tools they need to accomplish their best life.